Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another decent attack profile, and this time I'll be covering Siana. So Siana got a lot of updates, upgrades through different time period. I have the materials, most of them, when her first release, but she isn't that great at the time, so I didn't actually build the deck up. I just keep the cards. But then up till now, we have so many resources which I can kind of make it cheaper. So some options I didn't choose, some options I'm lucky to get them, so I can actually build a deck, and it's great. So let's go over and see uh, how she improved. Now, the right line here is still the Siana right line, so that you can sort of stopping your opponents to rush you too hard because they need to pay some cost in order to do that. And when you get to grade 3, you can make your opponents to like bounce all their front row regards, even though you get them a chance to use their on place again. But then you will have a chance to gain drive and crit as long as your opponents have 2 or less cards in their regard circle front row and guardian circle. So they can't just simply drop your PG, they just can't give you 2 cards to guard with and hoping to cancel your crit and drive. But for now, we do have the light OT to make things a lot more fun, which we retire everything from regard circle and guardian circle of our opponent. So that means if they don't have any defensive trigger, the attack will just directly get to the throat. So it's a very fun deck to play right now, and she's kind of like a story larger where you need to do a lot of things to make your opponents feel annoying, and once you get that rolling, it will start paying off. But it's not easy. And then into the main deck, we have first more Siana, because we do need more Siana cards to Soul Blast more, and Personal Right is always great. Also, not to forget that Siana have a defensive skill where when she get attacked, you can put a trigger from hand to soul to get plus 15k. So it's basically just kind of like using a trigger to guard, but because you need to place nothing on your guardian circle in order to activate her skill to make your opponents to drop a card or bind that unit. So yeah, we need a lot of ways to defend her while not placing anything to the guardian circle. So it's not easy, but again, when it paid off, it's great. And then new card, Karsty. She is a bounce for front row regards of your opponent, as long as you're willing to soul blast 1 card with Siana, is card name or trigger unit, which you will put quite a lot through your Vanguard skill. And she can use Energy Blast 3 to bounce herself back to hand at the end of the turn. If you have a grade 3 or higher Vanguard with Siana, is card name, so you can reduce her, keep bouncing opponent's front row regard, so your permanent skill will get active. Your opponents will need to give you more cards in order to stop your extra drive, because even if they drop a PG, you have extra drive, means you have more cards to guard with, even normally. So it would just make them a lot harder to break you, unless they're going for a deck out play where they still need to keep enough of cards in hand, which is not easy. And then another new card, which is Esther. Esther is the withstander. When your Vanguard attacks, you can call last one and stand her up, which is Siana only. And then she also get to bounce a front row regard on place. And if you want to Soul Blast 1 with Siana, his card name or trigger unit, to get plus 5k per empty front row regard circle. So she can get 10k, which is at least make her able to hit before your Vanguard do your drive checks, because you need to withstand her when your Vanguard attacks. And if she is only attacking for 10k, then that is not going to be worth it. But at least now she is making herself very worth, and she brings in the multiple attacks for this deck, which we usually only do 3 attacks, so making the deck a lot stronger. And then we have Feras, so she's also a on place to bounce a Vulnerable Vanguard, and then when she attacks a Vanguard, if you have a Siana's card name and counterblast 1, then she will get plus 5k per empty front row Vanguard circle of your opponent, which is usually just 5k per, so it's usually 10. And if she gets plus 10k with this skill, then you can draw a card. So she also brings you a card, makes you survive a little bit longer. And then we have Junal. Junal is also a bouncer, but she's an active skill, so as long as you're willing to Soul Blast 1 every single turn, then you can bounce a opponent from a Vanguard, right? And if you Soul Blast a trigger unit for the cost, then you can choose your Vanguard, and this and your Vanguard will get plus 10k until end of turn. So it's another way to make your Vanguard harder, so that your opponents need to drop you more cards, kind of trying to nullify your drive and crit, or you are big enough so that they need to drop a PG so you can keep your drive. So it's very interesting, but then because she might not always get to stay in the front row, or I don't have that much chances to actually play her, because I think these 3 is a better choice, but she's definitely something that is still great, and she doesn't limit you to what to Soul Blast, basically. So even though we are soul charging a lot of triggers, we kind of keeping a right line, but I want the flexibility so that Soul Blast with anything is still kind of great. Okay, and then next is the promo Left Friends. So she can counterblast 1 to Soul Charge 1, and then I can pick something from Soul into hand. So even if I mistakenly Soul Charge my PG, I can still pick it up because she didn't say any restriction on what I pick. And if my Siana is being attacked, I can Energy Blast 3 and put this card into my soul, so that I can reuse with her. Then my Vanguard will get plus 15k until the end of the battle. So it's a very good defensive tactic, which is important, because for Siana's skill, we always want to keep her clean by not taking any hits, and then we also didn't place anything to the Guardian Circle, and then her skill activates. That's the most beneficial situation, I would say. So this is definitely a saver, but at the point she releases, where we don't have like these things, it isn't that good, and especially without the multiple attacker, that we are still in kind of a pain. And then Lumia, so she is a 10k boost if you have a Siana Vanguard, which is easy, and if she boosts a Siana Vanguard with Griffith or higher, you can Soul Blast 1 card with Siana or trigger to choose one of your units, get plus 5k at the end of turn for each of your opponent's MT circle. So she's a backup plan, where when we don't have like the strong power pump, or maybe just her, that you still want to make her stronger, then you can use this. But since she's only a Vanguard booster, so you don't need to put in too much. And then 3 of the Ruebo, so she is also a on place, bounce a Vulnerable Vanguard, which is common. And when your Griffith or higher Vanguard with Siana name attacks or being attacked, you can put this card into the soul, choose one of the Vanguard, and it gets plus 10k on the end of battle. So she can turn into defensive, she can go for offensive, depending on what you need. And once you soul blast her, you can just soul charge her in. You can soul blast her out for other cards. Which, like Yuka, you won't need that, because you need to soul blast and keep bouncing your front row units as well, so that you can bounce your opponent's rearguards every single turn. That is very important. I only have 3 copies, so I'm using 3, but I think deck space wise I can only fit 3 as well. But if I need to put a 4th, then I might need to cut one of her into here. So just in case, if you have 4, then you go for it. And then 4 PGs, and then the Symphony Blitz Order, because using Blitz Order doesn't mean you put card into Guardian Circle, so that's a way to make your Vanguard skill active. And triggers, as I explained before, like OT is definitely fitting this deck most, I guess. And then crit, you can use soul in crit if you want to, but to me I think it's fine. I am already like putting crit, triggers into the soul for the 15k already, so it doesn't really matter, and I usually just keep them in my hand so that I can use that, so I don't need to use a soul in crit. The front is for a better shield value, so I'm using the 20k front, but if I really need to soul in the front, I will still do it, which hopefully not. And then just for normal heals, if you want to use effect heals, you can, but I think it's really quite hard to catch how the meta changes, which kind of effect heals is actually better, even though you can still put it in and just use your Vanguard skill to plus 15k. But yeah, I think normal shield value is better for this deck, and I don't want to overcomplicate things. This deck itself is well, when building it, it's not complicated, but when you actually play the deck, it's actually quite complicated, because you always need to look to your opponent's field, how big each of their swings in, which you can just not placing any cards to the Guardian Circle and activate her skill. And sometimes you just need to place something to the Guardian Circle in order to block those attacks, like PGs or like using the fronts. So you need to think quite a lot with this deck, but at least with the withstanding, grade 2s, with the like other cards that pump your Vanguard during your opponent's turn, making things a bit easier, just a bit. But it's still kind of a brain burning deck. It's not easy to pilot, but at least we get better supports, and overall it isn't that expensive to build, except for the Yuka, I guess. Yeah, that unfortunately you just can't avoid it. Like for Michu I can avoid, and then for the friends deck I can, but this unfortunately can't. You can dodge the energy blast free to draw one because you don't have space, kind of basically. But I still see some people actually put that in, and I think they might just take these out, or they just don't use these for the space. But to me, I don't see a very good reason to just chuck it in because it is generic support, right? So that's how I make it, and you can feel free to let me know your way to build it in the comments down below. Feel free to let me know. Maybe there's something that I haven't been considering that is actually great. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's it for this video. Subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxing videos. New set is coming up very soon. Yeah, like this video, let me know your thoughts, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.